This picture is going viral with Bria Hartley with the sinister grin, right? This malevolent look that's on her face right now, clearly smiling after injuring Sophie Cunningham.
It happened so fast, most fans didn't even realize what they were watching at first. One moment, Sophie Cunningham was locked in on defense. In the next, she was crumpled on the hardwood, clutching her knee in agony. The play seemed routine at first glance. Bria Hartley driving hard to the basket in the second quarter, pushing through traffic like she always does. But when her momentum carried her straight into Cunningham's planted right leg, everything stopped. The contact was brutal. Cunningham's knee bent awkwardly, and her hands immediately flew to the injured spot as she collapsed. She tried to sit up, then fell again, unable to stand on her own.
Sophie Cunningham, let's be clear here. Sophie Cunningham was targeted. Let's be very, very clear here. But Sophie Cunningham was flat out targeted by a dirty player.
Trainers rushed onto the court as the crowd went silent, the gravity of the moment sinking in. Sophie was helped off, leaning on shoulders, her face contorted in pain, and just like that, she was done for the game. It wasn't long before she was ruled out completely and sent to the locker room. But while Cunningham was still trying to put weight on her injured leg, fans were already asking the question that would define the night. Was this really just a freak accident or something else entirely? Before we go any further, hit that like button and tell us in the comments, do you think this was just an unfortunate collision, or was there something darker behind it? Your take might just change how others see it. What fans didn't know yet, what hadn't surfaced in full, was the image. The moment caught on camera that would take a painful collision and turn it into an all-out firestorm. And it wasn't what Hartley did during the play that triggered the outrage. It was what she did after.
Is the play that just occurred.
That's like she tries to slide over right there, and Hartley just kind of falls and makes collision with that lower leg. You see her immediately grab it. And she went down hard and was clearly in a lot of pain.
The internet exploded within minutes. A courtside camera angle had captured Bria Hartley standing just feet from where Sophie Cunningham lay on the floor. But what set fans off wasn't the contact, it was Hartley's face. There it was, frozen in time, a wide, almost smug grin, a smirk that looked to many downright sinister.
Oh, and Cunningham is down. My goodness.
Timeout.
Should be.
To her defenders, it was nothing. A tense moment, a neutral expression taken out of context. But to Fever fans, and especially Cunningham's family, it was something else entirely. It looked like a player smiling moments after taking out a rival who couldn't walk. Social media lit up instantly. Tweets flooded in with side-by-side images. Sophie doubled over in pain, and Bria smiling in the background. "This is sick," one user wrote. "How are you smiling while someone's being carried off?" Others called it cold-blooded and sociopathic. Within hours, the photo was everywhere. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, each time with a new caption, a new layer of disgust. But what gave that grin even more weight was Hartley's history, and it's not a short one.
Fever fans wake up pissed off today. Pissed off. Not only are we getting assaulted, but they're smiling about it. This is the 6th time they've smiled, laughed, and cheered on our Indiana Fever players getting assaulted, getting injured. And it pisses me off.
For Bria Hartley, this wasn't her first time in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. In fact, for fans who followed her career closely, that grin wasn't shocking. It was on brand. Over the years, Hartley has built a reputation that many in the league have quietly whispered about, but few have outright addressed. Hard fouls? Routine. Questionable box outs? Every game. But what really stood out, what stuck in fans' memories, were the moments that went viral. Grabbing jerseys, tugging hair, flagrant shoves that looked more like wrestling moves than basketball defense, and nearly every time she walked away without consequences.
Bria Hartley deserves zero benefit of the doubt. And Sophie Cunningham's family not too happy. I believe
clips of Hartley dragging opponents to the floor have been circulating for seasons, often brushed off as playing with intensity, but the pattern is impossible to ignore. She doesn't just play tough, she plays reckless. And what made fans so angry this time wasn't just Sophie Cunningham's injury. It was that Hartley, the player who caused it, had a highlight reel of chaos trailing behind her, and still the league had let it slide. Coaches have grumbled about it behind closed doors. Players have given cryptic post-game interviews talking about dirty plays without naming names. But fans have no problem spelling it out. Bria Hartley doesn't just play hard, she plays to hurt. And if you thought the refs would finally take action this time, they didn't even flinch.
Making all kind of excuses to say that Bria Hartley is not a dirty player. Let me tell y'all something, man. Come on in here. Come on in here, man. Let me tell y'all something. If it quacks like a duck, walks like a duck, eats like a duck, it's a duck, man. Come on, man. She is the dirtiest player in the WNBA right now, winning the trophy. All right? Winning the trophy for it. Don't sit here and try to tell me Bria Hartley is not a dirty player.
The arena was dead silent. Cunningham was barely able to stand, trainers supporting her weight, and fans holding their breath. You'd expect the officials to pause the game, review the play, maybe even issue a flagrant foul. Instead, nothing. No whistle, no stoppage, not even a second glance. The game rolled on as if nothing had happened. That's what really lit the fuse. It wasn't just that Sophie got hurt, it was that nobody did a thing about it. No replay review, no conversation between refs, no recognition that something dangerous had just unfolded in front of thousands of fans and cameras. The optics were brutal. A star player writhing in pain while officials stared straight ahead, waiting for the next possession.
Listen, Sophie Cunningham was targeted, y'all. I'm telling you right now, Sophie Cunningham was targeted by Bria Hartley, and it just is what it is. It is what it is. I don't want to sit here and play games and act like, you know, she wasn't. She was targeted by Bria Hartley, and that's just the fact of the matter. And people can act like it's not all they want. I told you guys this girl was a dirty player. And that's all she did today was show how dirty she is.
By the end of the quarter, social media was in full-blown meltdown mode. Fans flooded Twitter and Instagram, demanding to know why the play wasn't reviewed. This league talks about protecting players, one post read, but apparently that doesn't apply to the Fever. Another said, you don't even need replay. You can hear the pain in her voice. Even veteran players chimed in subtly, reposting the video with nothing but wide-eye emojis or the words, unreal. The fact that the officiating crew ignored the play entirely made it feel deliberate, like a message. Rough play is just part of the game. But what message does that send to the rest of the league? That if you're physical enough, aggressive enough, and clever enough, you can get away with anything. And nobody felt that rage more than Sophie Cunningham's family.
Now look, you can tell Bria Hartley, in my opinion, she launched herself into her knee. She did. And I've seen some of the reaction online. And guys, it's despicable. It really is. There's a lot of people celebrating this injury. And guess what? You can imagine who it is. It's members of the old WNBA fandom, the ones that root for Paige Beckers and Angel Reese and Asia Wilson and all the usual damn suspects.
When the cameras turned away and the game carried on, Sophie Cunningham's family didn't. They were watching and they were furious. Within hours, her sister Lindsay took to social media, blasting the officiating crew for what she called a disgraceful lack of awareness. But she didn't stop there. She pointed directly at the WNBA's pattern of punishing players for speaking out more than they punished dangerous plays. How many more injuries until something changes, she wrote. How many more smiles after the pain? Then came Sophie's mother, Paula, and her words were even sharper. In a now deleted post that quickly went viral, Paula accused Bria Hartley directly of being out of control and dangerous. She said what many fans were already thinking, that Hartley didn't just collide with Sophie by accident, but that she had a reckless history and shouldn't even be on the court.
Atkins, 7 to shoot. Cardoso rolls, catch. Cardoso over the top, can't get it. Reese fights for the rebound, and a foul, and this time gets a little chippy, and a shove on Nelson Adota. And listen, this arena, typically we'll see some ringside fights, and Charles this time trying to fight through the official, points a long finger as both teams walk to their respective corner.
But we mentioned the physicality and that last possession, the contact being let go. This time, I think it was accidental by Hartley. And then Reese just with a big reaction. And Tina Charles, being the vet that she is, going to stick up for her team. If you know anything about Angel Reese, she is going to go hard. She's tough. She cares about making a stand for her team. And I love the reaction from Tina Charles as a vet. You want to see your vet.
Though the post was taken down, screenshots had already made the rounds. Supporters rallied behind her. Detractors called it emotional overreaction. But one thing was clear. This wasn't just a game anymore. It had become personal. And it wasn't just the family. Indiana Fever fans were boiling over. Post after post poured in from longtime supporters calling it an assault, a joke of a league, and the last straw. One fan video that racked up hundreds of thousands of views summed up the mood in one sentence. We're getting assaulted assaulted, and they're laughing about it. What had started as a hard foul had now transformed into something far bigger, a public outcry with fans and family demanding answers the league had yet to give. And the timing couldn't have been worse, because Indiana was already hanging on by a thread.
Perceived lack of accountability is exactly what made the smile cut so deep for many viewers.
This is Bria Hartley right here, grinning from ear to ear with Sophie Cunningham smiling. I mean, that's despicable, folks. There's no other way to look at it. Yeah, how about this right here? That chick grinning after Caitlin Clark got slammed to the ground. And then this chick. I mean, really? Unbelievable.
For the Indiana Fever, Sophie Cunningham's injury wasn't just another setback. It was a punch to the gut in a season already hanging by a thread. Caitlin Clark was out with a groin issue. Ari McDonald and Sydney Colson had both been ruled out for the year. The backcourt was already in survival mode, and Sophie, she wasn't just another name on the roster. She was the heart of it, the physical, gritty presence who set the tone every night. When things got tough, she was the one diving for loose balls, taking charges, rallying her teammates. Now she was gone, limping into the locker room. Another name on a growing injury list, another hole in a team that was already cracked at the seams.
An assassin, Kelsey Mitchell, has a new career high. Backdoor Mitchell, bouncing in the paint for two. Kelsey Mitchell, the big is matched up. Mitchell squeezing through for two at the foul. Fouls on the other end. It's Mitchell launching it and connecting.
Fans knew it. You could hear it in the tone of post-game interviews. The frustration, the exhaustion, the quiet understanding that the season was slipping, not because of lack of effort, but because the team simply couldn't catch a break. And now, without Cunningham's leadership, that break might never come. Even opponents noticed. One WNBA analyst said bluntly, "Losing Sophie in this moment is like losing your spine. She's the piece that keeps them standing upright." The truth was painful. The Fever weren't just physically broken, they were emotionally drained. And this latest injury, especially one that felt dirty, didn't just hurt their chances, it shattered something deeper. And that's why fans aren't just calling this an accident, they're calling for something much bigger, with emotions boiling over and footage circulating everywhere. The question could no longer be avoided. Should Bria Hartley be suspended? Fans weren't asking, they were demanding. Calls for an official investigation flooded social media within hours. Commentators, former players, and everyday viewers were all echoing the same point. If the league doesn't act now, when will it? Some were blunt. If this doesn't earn a suspension, then nothing will. Others pointed out the dangerous precedent. So now we're just letting dirty plays slide if you smirk afterward? The tone wasn't just outrage, it was disbelief. The league markets player safety, toughness, and star power. But when it mattered most, it seemed to turn the other way. The pressure on the WNBA was growing. Already under fire for inconsistent officiating and a lack of transparency around injury protocols, this moment felt like the tipping point. If Bria Hartley walks away without consequence, what does that say to other players? What does it say to the stars the league depends on to draw fans and build momentum? Some fans even went further, questioning whether certain players were being protected more than others, whether favoritism or market value was influencing who gets punished and who gets a pass. It wasn't just about Hartley anymore, it was about the integrity of the game. And behind closed doors, you could feel the tension. Players weren't speaking publicly, but you could see it in their body language, their sideline reactions, their reposts and quiet nods online. They saw what happened, they knew what it looked like. Because whether you believe Hartley meant it or not, the damage was done. And the silence from the league, that spoke volumes. It started as just another drive to the basket, a collision in the lane that happens dozens of times in every game. But this one felt different. This one left Sophie Cunningham unable to walk, and Bria Hartley smiling in the aftermath. That image, that split second of a grin as a player lay injured, turned a physical play into a flashpoint. A single moment that sparked outrage, split the internet, and exposed deeper cracks within the league. Whether or not Hartley meant to injure Cunningham might never be proven, but intent stopped mattering the moment Sophie hit the floor and never came back. What mattered was how it looked, how it felt, and how the league responded. And in the eyes of many, they failed. Failed to protect their players, failed to review the play, failed to hold anyone accountable. Now the WNBA faces a bigger question, not just about this one incident, but about the message it sends moving forward. Can the league truly claim to prioritize safety and integrity if moments like this are allowed to fade away without action? Sophie Cunningham's injury might heal, but the shockwave it caused won't disappear so easily. The footage is out there, the reactions are out there, and the silence from officials, that's out there too. too. What happens next could define the season, maybe even the league's future. Because in a sport that thrives on passion, momentum, and trust, the moment you lose credibility is the moment the whole thing starts to crack. So now it's your turn. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Should Bria Hartley face suspension for her role in this incident, or was it just an unfortunate accident that's being blown out of proportion? Either way, this moment won't be forgotten.